Welcome to Learning to Sharpen Chainsaws 101. I'm Damien Watson and I'm your teacher for today. I know everybody wants to get into using the chainsaw, but there's a number of things that we need to learn before we do get into that. There's obviously the safety elements and the safety equipment I was just wearing, which we'll be doing next week. But even before that, we're going to learn how to sharpen our chainsaw. So, let's move this stuff out of the way. A former president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, he's got a famous quote where he said, give me a tree to chop down, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, actually, he said, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. So I don't think he was actually referring to cutting down trees and sharpening axes. It was actually a metaphor or an analogy, but in terms of our course and what we're doing, it was actually a really good metaphor, because for you, the benefit of having a really sharp chainsaw is that you're going to save an awful lot of time, not to mention petrol, energy, etc. And you're going to be really efficient with your chainsaw operation. So it's really important for you to have a sharp saw. And today we're going to show you how to actually do that. So let's move that out of the way. So I'm not sure if we're all in shot here, but we're all in, yep. So basically by the end of this class today, you'll know how to effectively sharpen your saw so that you're going to save time, energy and effort in chainsaw operations. The way the class will be structured today is I'm actually just going to show you how to do it first of all, and then I'll do a bit slower run through and I'll be explaining what I do so that you understand it. Then I'll help you to run through it yourself, and then I'll just throw it over to you to do entirely on your own. So that's how we're going to get started. The next part is safety. Now, obviously, I've got the safety equipment on. We're not going to be using the chainsaw today. We're not even going to start the chainsaw, so we won't need to use any chainsaw safety equipment. However, some of these teeth are sharp, so you need to be careful of that when you're sharpening the saw. And also, this is a heavy unit, so we need to make sure that it's secure. And the other thing is, usually it would be using a vise for this, but our vise is broken, so I'm going to be asking for a volunteer to help keep the chainsaw together. Children, can you be quiet, please? So I'll be asking for a volunteer to help me to keep the chainsaw stable. Other than that, probably posture. So usually you'd be standing upright. I'm going to have somebody here holding for me, so we'll be a bit hunched over the table, but really other than that, there's no real safety factors to take into place. We are in my shed right now. Obviously a classroom would have a cleaner environment. So, all right, let's get into it. Everyone keen to get started?
Yes.
Excellent. So, yeah, if you can be my volunteer to start with, if you can just hold that, and yeah, cameraman, position yourself around here, and I'll just run through what I'm doing. So, there's not many tools required. There's a few different options. You can use this round file, which basically you need to be a bit more precise and accurate with your angles, whereas this specific steel sharpener, it's really hard to get the angles wrong, so it's really good for beginners. So I'll get started here. Now, my volunteer's got hold of the saw. You'll see that the chain can actually be wound through here, and we're going to start. Yeah, I'm going to make a little mark here with my imaginary pen, and the reason we make a mark is so that we know where we've started, and by the time we get around to the end, we know where to stop again. Now, I did mention that I'm just going to get straight into it, so how about I just do that? So you'll notice there's teeth facing in two different directions. But I'll wait until I get to the explanation. So you've got hold of it there, have you, volunteer? You can zoom in a little bit, cameraman, and maybe just zoom around to see if the students are still paying attention. The one in the green jumper, probably not. We've had some issues with her in the past and her focus. So now what we're going to do, volunteer, I'm just going to ask you to come around the other side. Oop.